Fortuna in the second house natal, a comprehensive astrological exploration. The part of fortune, often called Fortuna or the lot of fortune, is one of the most well-known Arabic points, or lots, used in traditional and modern astrology. Derived from an ancient geometric calculation connecting the ascendant, sun, and moon, it represents a point of harmony, joy, and worldly success in the birth chart. Unlike planetary placements that indicate challenges to be overcome, the placement of Fortuna represents a path of least resistance where your natural talents and well-being align. When Fortuna resides in the second house, the focus of one's fortune, prosperity, and joy is deeply intertwined with personal values, material security, and the development of innate resources. The astrological significance of the second house. To understand the placement of Fortuna in the second house, one must first explore the foundational meaning of the house itself. Traditionally associated with Taurus and its ruling planet, Venus, the second house governs personal finances, material possessions, movable property, and income. On a deeper, more psychological level, it rules self-worth, personal values, and the inner and outer resources that a person utilizes to sustain themselves. While the first house defines who you are, the second house defines what you have, including talents, physical stamina, self-esteem, and financial well-being. Therefore, the second house acts as an energetic container for security and stability. When Fortuna is placed here, it acts as a pot of gold or a natural wellspring of prosperity, indicating that the native's greatest joy and worldly success stem from a secure and authentic foundation. The path to fulfillment and success. Having Fortuna in this house suggests that your path to fulfillment requires a strong connection to your core principles and a solid grasp of your self-worth. Here are the primary manifestations of this placement. Authentic value systems. True happiness comes when you live in alignment with your deepest values rather than adopting the values of others or chasing societal expectations. When your actions reflect what you truly believe in, a natural flow of abundance follows. Financial and material ease. Fortuna in the second house often points to individuals who possess an intuitive understanding of how to generate and multiply wealth. Whether through astute investments, managing resources, or working with tangible goods, financial success is often achieved with less friction than expected, provided the individual values themselves properly. Cultivation of talents. Your physical and mental abilities are your most valuable assets. The placement indicates that joy is found in developing and utilizing your unique talents, turning your natural aptitudes into reliable resources. Navigating the shadow side. As with any astrological placement, the influence of Fortuna can be distorted by difficult aspects from other planets or an overemphasis on the material plane. For Fortuna in the second house, the primary pitfalls to avoid include over-attachment to possessions. There is a temptation to define personal worth solely by bank accounts, possessions, or status symbols. The true lesson of Fortuna in the second house is that material items are merely a reflection of your inner worth, not a substitute for it. Fear of scarcity. A persistent worry about financial security can occasionally block the free flow of abundance. Learning to trust your inner resources and maintaining an attitude of gratitude allows the positive energy of Fortuna to operate freely. Misaligned work. If an individual pursues a career or path purely for money while abandoning their core ethical principles, they may feel a lingering sense of emptiness despite financial success. Planetary influences and benefic modification. The power of Fortuna in the second house is significantly influenced by any planets that reside alongside it or aspect it. Conjunct Venus or Jupiter, considered the most auspicious conjunctions, placing these benefic planets with Fortuna enhances wealth, luxury, and the enjoyment of life's pleasures. Conjunct Saturn indicates that financial security will be built slowly over time through discipline, hard work, and lessons learned regarding self-worth. Hard aspects from Mars or Uranus suggest sudden fluctuations in income or occasional friction between taking financial risks and seeking steady security. Conclusion. Fortuna in the second house reveals a life path where abundance and happiness are unlocked through the mastery of personal resources, the cultivation of self-esteem, and alignment with one's core values. By honoring what you hold dear and making grounded, practical choices, you allow the natural flow of worldly success to enrich your life. Fortuna in the second house, manifestation through the zodiac signs. The part of fortune, often called Fortuna or the lot of fortune, represents a point of harmony, joy, and worldly success in the birth chart. Derived from a geometric relationship between the ascendant, sun, and moon, it reveals the path of least resistance where your well-being and natural talents align. When Fortuna resides in the second house, the sphere of prosperity and fulfillment is deeply intertwined with personal resources, material security, and self-worth. The expression of Fortuna in this house is heavily modified by the zodiac sign in which it is placed. Below is a comprehensive exploration of how this placement manifests through all 12 signs of the zodiac, illustrating how each archetype unlocks abundance in the material and internal realms. Aries, Fortuna in the second house. The pioneer of personal value. When Fortuna in the second house is in Aries, your path to fulfillment and material security relies on your capacity for individual initiative, courage, and self-reliance. You are meant to be the architect of your own financial destiny. Path to fulfillment. True prosperity flows when you take bold, independent action to generate income. You find joy in pioneering new ventures or working in fields where you can lead and take calculated risks. Core lesson. The challenge is to channel your pioneering spirit into sustainable, long-term assets rather than burning through resources on impulse. True self-worth comes from trusting your inner drive to overcome material obstacles. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is generated through an assertive, unapologetic approach to asking for what you are worth. Taurus, Fortuna in the second house. The master of tangible resources. With Fortuna in its natural home of Taurus, this placement represents a profound alignment of joy and material security. You possess an innate ability to attract and sustain wealth. Path to fulfillment. Fulfillment is found in creating comfort, luxury, and lasting stability. You are deeply connected to the physical world, finding happiness through tangible creations, nature, and sensory experiences. Core lesson. You must learn to value yourself beyond the material accumulation of goods. The shadow of this placement can be stubbornness or a fear of change. Letting go of rigid attachments allows abundance to flow naturally. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is built steadily through patience, consistency, and an appreciation for high-quality, practical resources. Gemini, Fortuna in the second house. The wealth of information and ideas. When Fortuna occupies Gemini in the second house, your fortune is tied to your intellect, communication skills, and adaptability. Path to fulfillment. Joy and financial success come from the exchange of ideas, networking, and utilizing your mental agility. You are likely to find abundance through writing, teaching, media, or commerce. Core lesson. You may struggle with a fluctuating sense of security because your interests are highly varied. The key is to find focus and synthesize your diverse skills into practical, monetizable assets. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is generated by using your wit, adaptability, and communicative abilities to navigate multiple streams of income. Cancer, Fortuna in the second house. The nurturer of security. Fortuna in Cancer in the second house indicates that your path to fulfillment is rooted in emotional security, caretaking, and building a safe foundation for yourself and your loved ones. Path to fulfillment. Prosperity is achieved when your career or income-generating activities reflect a sense of care and nurture. You thrive in fields related to real estate, hospitality, family services, or emotional support. Core lesson. Overcoming the fear of scarcity is paramount. Because you tie your security to your emotional state, you must learn to cultivate inner self-worth rather than relying solely on external protection. Abundance blueprint. Wealth and well-being grow when you treat your personal resources with the same protective, nurturing instinct you offer to others. Leo, Fortuna in the second house. The generous creator of wealth. With Fortuna in Leo, your joy and self-worth are intimately connected to your creative expression, your heart-centered values, and your capacity to shine. Path to fulfillment. Prosperity flows when you express yourself authentically and take pride in your unique talents. You are likely to find success in entertainment, leadership roles, or creative entrepreneurship where your individuality is visible. Core lesson. The pitfall to avoid is using material wealth or extravagant displays solely to seek validation from others. True security comes from internal confidence and generosity of spirit. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is magnetized by maintaining a radiant, optimistic, and self-assured attitude toward your own creative resources. Virgo, Fortuna in the second house. The analyst of tangible value. Fortuna in Virgo brings a grounded, detail-oriented approach to your resources, meaning your joy comes from usefulness, efficiency, and personal growth. Path to fulfillment. Fulfillment is unlocked when you apply your analytical mind to organizing and refining your physical resources, daily routines, and health. You excel in service-oriented, administrative, or wellness-focused work. Core lesson. You must overcome the tendency to be overly critical of your own talents or to worry excessively about your financial security. Trust that your hard work and attention to detail are enough to sustain you. Abundance blueprint. Wealth and stability are built through practical systems, careful budgeting, and a commitment to self-improvement. Libra, Fortuna in the second house. The diplomat of harmony and wealth. When Fortuna is placed in Libra within the second house, your path to fulfillment is linked to balance, aesthetics, and harmonious relationships. Path to fulfillment. Prosperity is found through partnerships, collaborations, and endeavors related to art, beauty, law, or consulting. You have an innate ability to create value by bringing people together. Core lesson. The challenge is to avoid compromising your own financial or personal values to keep the peace. True fulfillment requires setting fair boundaries regarding what you deserve in exchange for your energy. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is attracted through diplomatic negotiations, a refined sense of taste, and fair, balanced partnerships. Scorpio, Fortuna in the second house. The transformer of resources. Fortuna in Scorpio implies that your relationship with self-worth and material wealth undergoes profound transformations throughout your life. Path to fulfillment. Joy and success are achieved by facing your fears around scarcity and embracing your deep, psychological power. You thrive in research, psychology, finance, or strategic investment. Core lesson. You must release the urge to control material assets tightly or use money as a tool for power. True security is found in trusting your resilience and emotional depth. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is generated by your intense focus, your ability to read hidden motives, and your courage to let go of what no longer serves your growth. Sagittarius, Fortuna in the second house. The visionary explorer of abundance. With Fortuna in Sagittarius, your path to fulfillment involves expanding your horizons, pursuing higher truths, and maintaining an optimistic outlook on life. Path to fulfillment. Prosperity comes when you align your material pursuits with your philosophical beliefs. You may find abundance through travel, publishing, education, or cross-cultural endeavors. Core lesson. Avoid overextending your resources or relying too heavily on luck. The challenge is to ground your expansive visions into practical, manageable financial assets. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is drawn to you when you maintain a generous, enthusiastic, and expansive attitude toward your potential. Capricorn, Fortuna in the second house. The architect of lasting legacy. Fortuna in Capricorn represents a highly auspicious placement for material success, as the sign of structure and responsibility aligns naturally with the house of resources. Path to fulfillment. Fulfillment is realized through building tangible structures, achieving professional milestones, and taking responsibility for your own financial destiny. You excel in business, governance, and long-term planning. Core lesson. You must ensure that your pursuit of material success does not come at the expense of your emotional life or self-compassion. Wealth without personal fulfillment can feel hollow. Abundance blueprint. Abundance is secured through discipline, hard work, and the steady construction of a legacy that stands the test of time. Aquarius, Fortuna in the second house. The innovator of collective value. When Fortuna is placed in Aquarius, your path to fulfillment breaks conventional molds, relying on innovation, originality, and progressive ideas. Path to fulfillment. Prosperity flows when you embrace your eccentricities and utilize technology, humanitarian concepts, or unconventional industries to generate income. Core lesson. You may struggle to balance your desire for freedom and intellectual pursuits with the practical need for material security. The key is to find value in your unique perspective. Abundance blueprint. Wealth is generated through an objective, future-oriented approach to resources and the willingness to collaborate on behalf of the greater good. Pisces, Fortuna in the second house. The mystic of spiritual and material flow. Fortuna in Pisces indicates that your path to fulfillment is tied to your connection with the collective consciousness, creativity, and spiritual depth. Path to fulfillment. Prosperity and joy are unlocked when you let go of rigid material attachment and trust in the flow of the universe. You find success in artistic, healing, or charitable pursuits. Core lesson. The primary challenge is establishing boundaries so your resources are not drained by others. You must learn that spiritual richness and material security can coexist. Abundance blueprint. Abundance is manifested through compassion, imagination, and a willingness to surrender the need for absolute control over your financial life. Subscribe, like, and share.